Hello and welcome again to my channel, Dr. Teacher Mom. Today we will be looking at how you should prepare for your 11 plus Grammar English Comprehension test. Now, this is the next stage really because my eldest daughter is now thinking of this test, and we have started to look at how she would answer these comprehension questions. So this is a paper that she did, that I did with her, and I will be taking you through each question, and the answers are basically her answers after we discuss them. So it will give you a very good idea of what your child should be doing. They're not my answers, so it's really, as I said before, a year 4 child's response to these comprehension questions. So it will give you a good idea of where you should be at this point. Let's begin. This comprehension test that we're looking at today is from A Candle in the Dark by Adele Jaras, and I will read it to you and then we'll go through the questions and then the answers. So this is part of a story set in Germany, 1938, during the time Hitler was in power. It takes place during Kristallnacht, or the Night of the Broken Glass, a night when all the Jews in Germany were attacked at the same time. Jewish shops and houses and all their contents were smashed and destroyed. Clara could see how white her mother's face was, how tightly her lips were clamped together, and how her hands trembled as she poured out the coffee. She could hear in the distance a rhythmic pounding that was coming nearer and nearer. I know that sound, she thought. I've heard it before. It's them marching. They were the Nazis. Clara tried not to say that word even to herself. It was an ugly black little word that buzzed in her head and reminded her of spiders. The spider symbol of the swastika, which was on every flag now and on every street, made her feel a little ill. Nothing was the same anymore, not since her Hitler had become Chancellor. Everything had changed. Clara remembered the first time she had read a notice on a shop window. Jews are not wanted as customers in this shop. She had turned to her mother in horror. But this is Tante Trude's drapery. We always come here. From now on, said Lottie. If Trude serves us, it will cause trouble for her. She likes me, Clara said. I know she likes me. Last night we were in the shop. She gave me nearly half a meter of pink ribbon for Angelica's petticoat. Real satin ribbon. Poor Angelica. Lottie tried to make light of it. Soon she will cease to be the best dressed doll in town. Come, we will try to find a draper somewhere else. Everything was different. Elsa, who had been coming to the flat since Clara was a baby to help with the cleaning and the cooking, didn't come any longer. Working for Jewish families was frowned upon, and Clara had heard her father say sadly that soon even Nussbaum and Sons, the furniture store that had been in the family for years and years, would be theirs no longer. No Jew would be allowed to own anything. Losing her best friend though, that was the very worst of all. At first, when Marianne moved from her usual place in the classroom to sit beside Monica, Clara couldn't understand why. "My father told me I mustn't sit next to you any longer," Marianne said. "So I can't." Clara walked home from school that day all by herself for the first time. A fog of tears had filled her eyes, so that she could hardly find her way. Now she went to a Jewish school and hardly ever saw Marianne. Only once in the street, the person whom she had loved best in the world after Mama and Papa and Maxie had crossed over to the other pavement to avoid her. "Try not to cry when such things happen," Clara's mother had told her. "I know how much it must have hurt you, but don't give her the satisfaction. Pretend you don't care." Clara thought of these things as the noises grew louder and louder outside the street. Inside there was nothing but silence. Suddenly Mitzi, the new black and white kitten, raced out from behind Maxie's bedroom door and fled across the floor. She squeezed herself in the tiny gap between the bottom of the bookcase and the floor. Maxie came chasing into the salon after her, dressed in his nightclothes. "Mama, they're shouting. Mitzi's frightened. She ran away." "Come and sit here next to me, Maxie, and keep very quiet till the noise is finished. Mitzi's under the bookcase. She's quite safe." Labeling. "But why are they shouting? What are they doing? Will they come here?" "Shh. Sit quietly and maybe they will go soon," said Lotte. So we have the questions now, and we're going to go through them. So 1, explain the following words in the context of the story. It's worth 5 marks. Clamped, buzzed, frowned upon. Number 2, what do you think the following phrases mean? It was an ugly black little word. The furniture store that had been in the family for years and years. Her usual place. And a fog of tears. Number 3, how do you think Clara felt when she realized that there were shops her family were no longer allowed in? Whose shop will she miss the most? And that's a 5-mark question. Number 4, describe in your own words and give reasons why Clara's mother was so scared. And that's worth 4 marks. Number 5, why do you think that Marianne moves away from Clara? Is it really because she doesn't like her anymore? That's 3 marks. Number 6, what was Clara's reaction to what Marianne does to her? 2 marks. Number 7, Lotte, Clara's mother, says that maybe they will go soon. Write in your own words who they are and if they really will go away soon. And that's worth 5 marks. Number 8, who is Maxie? Using the text, describe how he acts and how he must be feeling about what is happening. That's worth 4 marks. And number 9, imagine you're Clara sitting scared with Lotte. Continue the story from the end of the passage, writing about what you may be feeling and what happens next. You should try and write about 10 lines, and that's worth 8 marks. So let's look at the answers now. So number 1, clamped means that the mother's lips were pressed tightly together. So all we're doing is finding a synonym for clamped, and there you have it, pressed. And then we need to put it in the context of the text. So, you know, clamp is like a vice grip. So it's really, her lips are really pressed together. B, buzzed, means that the word rang in her mind. The negative word Nazi that she did not want to say. So again, we're finding a synonym for the word buzz and then put it in context of the text and explaining what that word means. C, frowned upon, a reference to the fact that the Jews were not allowed to have people to work for them. So frowned upon, the bit that's really most important is that idea of not being allowed to do something, right? Something not being acceptable. 2A. An ugly black little word, and this suggests that Clara doesn't like saying the word. So the negativity surrounding the word Nazi, and you could even put in what the word is if you liked. B, the family owned the furniture store for many years. C, Marianne normally sat by Clara, so Clara got upset when Marianne left the place she normally sat. And D, Clara's eyes went blurry with tears. Okay, so we are substituting fog and the idea of she can't see properly because she's crying, and we have used blurry to suggest that. 3, what my daughter has done for 3 is done something similar to point, evidence, explanation. So giving the point, giving some justification to support that point from the text, and then explaining it. So here goes. Clara felt terrified. She had turned to her mother in horror. This shows, so here comes your explanation part of it. This shows that she did not expect that to happen. She also felt depressed, shocked, surprised, and upset because she couldn't understand why she, being a Jew, was not allowed in the shop. She missed Tante Trude's shop because she would get ribbons for her doll's clothes. 4, she was scared that the Nazis would get them, the Jews. We know that the mom was terrified because her face was white, her lips were clamped together, and her hands trembled. So again, you have the evidence from the text and then the explanation. She knew that the Nazis were coming to attack them, the Jews. And 5, Marianne moved from Clara because her dad told her to. So I can't shows that she had to follow her dad's instructions even though she does not want to. 6, Clara was upset. She was also lonely because she walked home by herself for the first time. This is because she is used to having Marianne, but she doesn't anymore. Number 7, they are the Nazi soldiers and their followers. They wanted to kill the Jews. The text suggests that they will not go away soon because they are making a lot of noise. The noises were growing louder and louder. This suggests that the Nazis were coming closer and closer to destroy or harm the Jews. So especially the 5-mark questions, you're trying to put in the explanation to show your understanding of what the word means in context of the text. Yeah. And number 8, Maxi is Clara's brother. We know this because both Clara and Maxi call Lotte Mama. Maxi is frightened because his mom says keep quiet. He might feel scared because of all the noise. So again, not just saying that Max is Clara's brother, but giving some evidence to back up or justify why you say that. And then the last question, at the 8-mark question, so we are going to go through. This is quite a little bit asking you to be creative. It's asking you to continue this story by exploring Clara's feelings and her emotions. So Clara sat quietly like her mama wanted her to, but all she could hear were the loud noises like marching and shouting coming nearer and nearer. Clara closed her eyes and screwed up her face. She tried to pretend she was safe in her bedroom playing with her doll, Angelica. However, this did not work. All she could feel was the fear of them. Once again, Clara heard the ugly little black word, the word Nazi. And that's 10 lines. As they've asked you to, you could add maybe another sentence if you wanted to. So we've come to the end of yet another tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I wish you all the best in your journey of going through the 11 plus grammar exam. And I will be doing more of these tutorials as I do them with my daughter. I will also be sharing them with you. I will be sharing her responses as well. And as always, please remember to like, share, subscribe if you haven't yet. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next one.